You are 22 years old, and you are about to walk into a building that will either make you or break you. The address is in Lower Manhattan. The building is glass and steel, 47 floors of ambition stacked on top of each other, and somewhere inside it, people are making more money before 9 in the morning than most people make in a year. You have dreamed about this moment since you were 16 years old, sitting in your bedroom, reading about traders who turned nothing into everything. You have studied for it. You have sacrificed for it. You have turned down easier paths because this was the only path that ever made sense to you. You straighten your tie in the reflection of the lobby glass. You take one breath, and you walk through the door. This is your life as a Wall Street trader, and it starts at the very bottom. Your first day as an intern is nothing like the movies. There is no dramatic trading floor moment. There is no mentor who takes you under his wing and reveals the secrets of the market over a glass of scotch. Instead, there is a stack of documents to read, a compliance training module that takes 4 hours to complete, and a desk so small you have to angle your shoulders to sit down comfortably. The person next to you has been an analyst for 3 years and does not look up when you introduce yourself. You are invisible, and that is exactly where you need to start. The hours are brutal from the first week. You arrive before 7 every morning to read overnight market summaries and prepare briefings that senior traders will glance at for approximately 45 seconds before moving on. You stay until 9 or 10 every night because leaving before the senior staff is considered a statement about your commitment, and you cannot afford to make that statement. You eat at your desk. You learn the coffee orders of everyone around you, not because anyone asked you to, but because you understand instinctively that small gestures of awareness matter in a culture where every detail is noticed. The market opens at 9:30, and the first time you watch it from that floor, the screen's alive with movement, the numbers shifting faster than your eyes can fully track, traders calling out positions. The energy of a room where fortunes are moving in real time. You feel something that you will spend the rest of your career trying to describe to people who have never experienced it. It is not excitement, exactly. It is more like standing at the edge of an enormous force and feeling it pull at you. You understand in that moment that the market does not care about you. It does not care about your degree or your ambition or how hard you have worked. It only cares about whether you are right or wrong. And that terrifying neutrality is exactly what draws you to it. You convert your internship into a full-time analyst position. It takes everything you have. As an analyst, your world expands slightly, but the pressure multiplies significantly. You are now responsible for real work that feeds into real decisions. Your financial models are reviewed by people whose time is worth thousands of dollars an hour, and any error, any single number out of place, reflects directly on your judgment and your future. You build models until 2 in the morning. You rebuild them when the assumptions change. You present findings in meetings where you are the youngest person in the room by a decade, and you learn very quickly that the quality of your thinking matters far more than the confidence of your delivery. You watch the traders above you with a hunger that is difficult to articulate. They move through the floor with a certainty that you are still building in yourself. They make decisions in seconds that you would agonize over for hours. They carry losses with a steadiness that baffles you until you understand that emotional detachment is not something they were born with. It is something they built, painfully. Through years of being wrong in expensive ways, you study them the way you study the market. Every pattern, every habit, every way they manage information and risk, and the psychological pressure of holding a position that is moving against you. After 2 years as an analyst, you are promoted to junior trader. You are given a small book, a portfolio of positions you are responsible for managing. The amount seems modest by the standards of the floor around you, but it is the largest sum of money you have ever been personally accountable for, and the weight of it is unlike anything you have felt before. This is no longer theoretical. This is real capital. Real consequences. Your first significant loss happens in your 3rd month as a junior trader. A position you were confident in moves sharply against you on the back of an earnings report you had misread. You sit at your desk, staring at the number for a long moment. The loss is within acceptable parameters. Your risk manager will not escalate it, but you feel it in a way that goes beyond the financial. You feel it as information. You go home that night, and you spend 3 hours understanding exactly where your analysis broke down. You do not drink. You do not complain. You do not blame the market, or the report, or bad timing. You take the loss apart, piece by piece, until you understand it completely. That discipline, the willingness to examine failure without flinching, is what separates the traders who survive from the ones who do not. Over the next 3 years, you grow your book steadily. Not spectacularly. Steadily. You develop a style that is entirely your own, a way of reading momentum and positioning that combines quantitative signals with a qualitative understanding of market psychology that most purely data-driven traders lack. Your risk-adjusted returns begin to attract attention from senior management. You are given more capital, then more again. At 29, you are a senior trader. You have a team beneath you. You are responsible not just for your own positions, but for mentoring the analysts and junior traders who remind you uncomfortably of yourself at 22. You are harder on them than anyone was on you because you understand that the market will be harder still, and softness now is a cruelty disguised as kindness. The money at this level is significant. Your bonus in a strong year is more than your parents earned in a decade combined. You buy an apartment in Manhattan. You stop looking at prices in restaurants. Small luxuries accumulate so gradually that you barely notice them until one day you realize that the life you once dreamed about from a bedroom in a different city has quietly become your ordinary life. That realization is stranger than you expected, not disappointing exactly, just different from the way you imagined it would feel. But the market has a way of reminding you that comfort is dangerous. The year you turn 31, the market delivers one of its periodic lessons in humility. A macro event that almost no one predicted correctly reshapes entire sectors overnight. Positions that looked bulletproof become liabilities. You manage your book through it better than most, but better than most is not the same as unscathed. You take losses that would have ended your career 2 years earlier. You do not end your career because you have spent 9 years building the risk, discipline, and psychological resilience to survive exactly this kind of moment. When the dust settles, you are still standing. And you are considerably sharper than you were before. The idea of the hedge fund begins not as ambition, but as logic. You have spent over a decade generating returns for other people's capital. You have built a methodology that is demonstrably yours. You have relationships across the industry, investors, prime brokers, analysts, risk managers, who have watched you work and trust what they have seen. The question stops being whether you could build something of your own, and starts being why you have not started already. You leave the firm on a Friday. It is quiet and professional and entirely without drama. The people you respect shake your hand and wish you well. You clear your desk, take one last look at the floor that shaped you, and walk out into the street. The following Monday, you sit at a desk in a rented office space in Midtown. There are no screens yet. No team, no capital beyond your own, and a small number of early investors who believed in you before there was anything to believe in except your track record and your word. The silence is profound after a decade on a trading floor. You open your laptop. You start building. Within 18 months, your fund has crossed $100 million in assets under management. Within 3 years, it has crossed $500 million. The returns are consistent. The strategy is disciplined. The team you have built around you reflects everything you learned about what makes a trader survivable in this business. Not brilliance alone, but brilliance combined with process, with humility, with the capacity to be wrong and recover without losing the thread of your methodology. There are mornings when you arrive at the office before anyone else, and you sit in the quiet, and you think about that 22-year-old. Standing in a lobby straightening his tie in a glass reflection, you think about the stack of documents and the 4-hour compliance module and the desk too small for your shoulders. You think about the first loss and the 3 hours you spent taking it apart on your living room floor. You would not change any of it, not one day, because every single piece of it built the trader you became. And the trader you became built everything that surrounds you now. The market will keep testing you. It always does. That is the only certainty this business offers, and it is the only certainty you have ever needed. You check the pre-market data, you adjust one position, you pour your coffee, and the day begins.